Right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk elections. Elections are the cornerstone of any democracy, where people have the freedom to vote for who they would like to lead the country. With the 2016 local government elections coming up later this year, many are still not very clear about what exactly local government elections are. So we thought we'd elaborate a little bit more on this, and we'd offer a bit of education this morning. And in studio to educate us is Xolile George, who is the CEO of the South African Local Government Association. Xolile, it's good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne. Good morning to all the viewers.
All right, let's talk about these local government elections now. Some people are actually still not sure of the difference between the local government elections and national elections. What is the difference?
Well, every 5 years in terms of our constitution, there's an electoral cycle that takes place, either national and provincial, and thereafter local government. So you would know that in 1994, during the democratic breakthrough, we held our first ever national election, the right to vote for everyone. And at that time, there was then a transition between 1994 to 1995 in respect of local government. So there were no pretty elections per se in terms of full-scale ward delimited as well as proportional representation, but we did have mayors even at that time. But the first ever elections that are democratic in local government took place on the 5th of December 2000. So every 5 years, 2006, we had elections, and then thereafter 2011, and now here we are, 2016, the 5th democratic local government elections. So they take place separate from the national elections every 2 years. As you know that we have just had national election in 2014, now 2016 local government election, 2019 national election, and 2021, 2 years after 1919, then we will have local government elections.
All right, so that's what they're all about. And
Yeah.
is it common for a country to have separate elections like this?
In other countries, it depends on the constitutional dispensation that each country has adopted for its own purposes. So other countries, you will have one scale, local, provincial, governor elections and national elections at once. In other countries, indeed, it's separate. So others will have annually. In our case, we do have them every 5 years.
Okay.
So it's quite an important process to observe for this year, because for the first time we have a huge number of registered voters in our country, more than 25 million. IEC, as recent as 2 weeks ago, indicated that the final list they have, as at the recent update, they are sitting with 24.9 registered voters, and they will be going on the 5th and 6th of March this year to register more eligible voters. Will be 18, especially young people or people who might have moved from one province to the other or from one district to the other and so on. So we think that we might have a huge voting population that is likely to participate this year. We do hope, though, as local government, that also on the day of the elections, that indeed the majority of registered voters turn up and come to the voting station and vote.
That is very,
because
very
that's
big.
the most important elections in terms of how it impacts on the day-to-day lives of citizens. Because where you stay, where I stay, I have a right in local government to choose who represent me in a form of a ward council. Unlike national and local and provincial government elections where you vote for political parties, they in turn compile lists for people to represent them in parliament or legislatures. In local government, 50% of representatives through ward processes are directly elected by me and you. So it's quite critical. Before people say, we don't know who these people that are representing our interest. In local government, here you are. You have a direct participation to choose who you are. You see the face of who you'll be voting for.
Indeed. I mean, that's really what I was wanting to get from you, is the fact that these elections affect the day-to-day runnings of your life, of who picks up your garbage, who keeps your streets clean, the safety and the security in your area. This is how you live. This is so important for this now, and that's why it's so important for people to take part in these elections. Who can actually stand as candidates in these elections?
In terms of ward election, we've got two categories of candidates in local government. We've got what we call PR, proportional representative candidate. Those ones are candidates that political parties will draw a list of candidates they will deploy in local government and make sure that based on the outcomes of the elections, then they might either have won 40%, they might have won 20%, they might have won 60%, and so on. Then proportional representation is a consequence of that outcome. But when it comes to wards, at the ward level, we've got what we want first past the post. So if there's 4 contests by 4 political parties in a ward, Party A gets the highest number of cast votes, then that candidate wins the ward. And that's how it comes then at the end, that you might have Party A sweeping the whole elections in terms of the majority, but also that tends to also show in the ward election outcomes.
All right, so we can expect the elections to be at the latter half of the deadline, so that obviously sometime in August, July, August, that could possibly be where the elections will be this year.
Yes. I think any date between 17 May up to 16 August. Okay. Once the Minister of Local Government, Traditional Affairs, COGTA, pronounces on the gazetting, then the process is now finally confirmed. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for talking to us. Thanks so much for shedding some light on these elections that are coming up. Anytime from the 17th of May up until the middle of August, that's when we can expect these elections. Xolile George, the CEO of SALGA, the South African Local Government Association. Again, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Shirley.
Time now for some sports news. And Valen, it's over to you.